After watching the 50 Cent produced Diddy documentary, a lot of people started asking the same question. Did it change how you see Suge Knight's role and the long-standing claims about Tupac's death? Absolutely. Some people move so slick for so long they think nothing will ever catch up. You hear lyrics, hear threats wrapped in music, and later realize it wasn't just talk. Nobody wanted anyone hurt, but behind the scenes, things were already in motion. Looking back, it feels like a setup, a calculated plot, and the people closest to Pac still feel the weight of that betrayal. This is a major development. According to 50 Cent, the FBI wasn't just watching Sean Diddy Combs over recent allegations. They were allegedly circling him because of something far darker. A trail that keeps leading back to the murders of Tupac Shakur and the notorious Big. And now, people who were close to the situation are finally...
After watching the 50 Cent produced Diddy documentary, did it change how you viewed Suge's role at all? And people alleging that he was involved with Tupac's death?
Absolutely.
Sometimes you get away with stuff, and you, like when you hear the song on the I put $1 billion on your head. Real kid, like you know, like and don't nobody want to kill nobody, and really don't let nobody know.
I mean, it's all f***ed up. It was a setup. It was a plot to my brother. I feel f***ed up about it.
Speaking. In the documentary, new revelations come from former bad boy insiders like Kirk Burroughs and Gene Deal, along with voices from Tupac's own family, including his brother and cousin, who were deeply connected to everything happening at the time. These aren't outsiders guessing, they lived it. Tupac and Biggie were once close friends. Both were rising fast, reshaping hip-hop forever, and both were taken out at the height of their power, just 6 months apart. For years, their deaths were treated like unsolvable mysteries. Now people who were actually there are filling in the gaps. Tupac's cousin, former bad boy artist Mark Curry, former LAPD detective Greg Kading, and even a former gang member all tell pieces of the same story. Tupac's death wasn't random, it was planned. According to Kirk Burroughs, a co-founder of Bad Boy Entertainment, Diddy was responsible for setting events in motion that led to Tupac being killed. These are allegations, but they're coming from insiders.
Diddy claims that there is this ongoing conversation. It happens on 3 different occasions, but most specifically when he and Puffy are at this place called Greenblatt's Deli on Sunset. And they're there, things have spiraled out of control. Puffy's really concerned about, you know, the welfare, his safety. And he tells Keefe D, man, I just need you to take care of this situation with Suge and Tupac. It's out of control. You know, Tupac's on vinyl talking about kill kids when they grow up, and you know, it's just it's just become this really serious conflict. And he says, I just need you to take care of him. And Keefe D's like, that's no problem. That's what we do. And so an agreement was made, according to Keefe D, for an amount of money, and they kind of just let it go at that point in time. But of course, Keefe D knows in the back of his mind, this is what Puffy wants done, and they all end up out in Las Vegas. Suge's out there.
Well, before you say that, there's a couple things I want to talk about in Vegas. So when you say that Keefe got offered an amount of money, according to him, was there a dollar amount?
Yeah, so there was a dollar amount. But I think that, you know, the nuances of this conversation are that, like, man, I'll give you $1 million, whatever it takes. You know, it's like exaggerated speech. But of course, when we interview Keefe D, he's like, yeah, that's what the agreed amount was, $1 million.
So according to Keefe, he's claiming that Puffy offered him $1 million to Suge or Tupac?
Both
or
of
both.
them. Yeah, both their names came up. And according to Keefe D, he says, you know, Tupac's put himself on the list by all the shit that he is doing.
For decades, no one was charged. The story turned into hip-hop folklore, documentaries, theories, and endless debates. But now it looks like federal investigators may finally be closing in. Things shifted in 2023 when Dwayne Keefe D. Davis was indicted in connection to Tupac's murder. Former detective Greg Kading says something chilling in the documentary. He believes Keefe D. and Puffy are the last 2 men standing with answers. During recorded sessions with investigators, Keefe D made explosive claims. He said that about a year before Tupac was killed, Diddy stood in a room full of Crips and openly talked about wanting Tupac and Suge Knight gone. Keefe D claimed Diddy later offered money to make it happen. Keefe D described multiple conversations, including one at a deli in Los Angeles where tensions were spiraling. He claimed Diddy was worried about safety and said the situation with Tupac was out of control. According to Keefe D, Diddy asked him to handle it, and Keefe D said that's what his crew did. When asked about the amount, Keefe D said the figure discussed was $1 million. Some say it could have been exaggerated talk, but Keefe D insists that was the agreement. He also claimed Tupac put himself on the list by escalating the conflict through music and public threats. The allegations didn't stop there. Keefe D also spoke about a gun hidden in a car linked to Eric Von Zip, a man described as having strong ties to Diddy. Tupac's brother later said both Von Zip and Diddy should have been investigated if Von Zip was involved in supplying the weapon. Tupac's brother admitted he could understand why Pac felt betrayed and believed it was a setup. He said it sounded like a typical industry plot and that the connections were too close to ignore. That's where Kirk Burroughs' journals come into play. Just days before Tupac was killed, Burroughs wrote that Diddy asked him to rent cars and drive from New York to Las Vegas for the Mike Tyson fight. That request stood out. Flying would have been easier, but Burroughs followed instructions and documented everything: dates, routes, and costs. Those handwritten notes are now featured in the documentary and are reportedly being reviewed by federal investigators. Small details that didn't matter before suddenly look critical. Then there's Biggie. Gene Deal, who handled security, explained how critical decisions were made around budgets and protection. He said Biggie's security funding ended just before the night he was killed. Warnings were ignored, and Biggie was left vulnerable in enemy territory. After leaving a party in Los Angeles, Biggie was stopped at a red light when a car pulled alongside him. Shots rang out. He was hit multiple times and later pronounced dead at just 24 years old. After Biggie's death, things got strange fast. Reports surfaced that he was planning to leave Bad Boy Records. Legal battles over his publishing followed. Instead of Biggie being honored, Diddy appeared on major magazine covers. Just 2 months later, Diddy released I'll Be Missing You. The song became a global hit, followed by a multi-platinum.
I can see how Pac felt like they had something to do with the setup, man. But speaking of Puffy, right, how do you feel about the rumor that Puffy, he gave a guy named Eric Von Zip a check for $1 million to give to Keefe D to kill Tupac?
I'm familiar with the story. I'm familiar with the dude. My man Big Psych, rest in peace, used to know that dude.
So you met Von Zip before. So how does that make you feel, man? Somebody that you met, and I'm sure that he knew that she was Tupac's brother. How does that make you feel knowing that he's the one that provided Keefe D with the gun to Tupac?
I mean, it's all f***ed up. It was a setup. It was a plot to my brother. I feel f***ed up about it. I don't know that nigga, but I ain't got no love for none of them. Straight up. It sounds like a typical plot. See, but considering who that guy is to Puffy and to Keefe D, for it not to be addressed is weird. We will see.
Album. Years later, Diddy even admitted that Biggie's death increased his fame. Now, with all this information resurfacing, people are asking questions they avoided for decades. If these allegations hold weight, hip-hop history may need to be rewritten entirely. That admission alone raised eyebrows immediately. But the pattern didn't stop there. Over the years, multiple people closely connected to Diddy allegedly became sick, went silent, or passed away under strange circumstances. Lawsuits appeared, accusations surfaced, stories made noise, then vanished. And now Gene Deal, a longtime Bad Boy insider and former head of security, says the upcoming Keefe D trial could flip everything upside down. According to Gene, Keefe D's defense strategy is simple but explosive. He's claiming Tupac's murder traces back to Puff. Gene explains there's no physical evidence proving Keefe D pulled the trigger or was directly involved. What exists instead is circumstantial evidence, statements, alleged conversations, and secondhand accounts. That's exactly why Keefe D's legal team pushed for a judge trial instead of a jury. A judge looks for hard proof, not emotional stories, so the questions get real fast. What physically ties Keefe D to Tupac's death? What connects him to Puff? Someone would have to take the stand and say, "I saw it," or "I heard it," and be believed. Gene also points out Keefe D has told multiple versions of the story over the years. When details shift, every past statement gets re-examined. Prosecutors then have to explain why this version should be trusted over earlier ones, and that's not easy at all. Here's where things get wild. Keefe D previously claimed he was an informant back in 1997 and told investigators that Puff hired members of the Southside Crips to target both Suge Knight and Tupac. He said the Crip involved in the MGM fight was part of the same group responsible for the shooting. He also claimed the original plan was to wait and hit them later, but things moved fast and happened that same night. What's chilling is that this story stayed consistent years later. Very few people know that right after Tupac was shot and the white Cadillac fled, someone from death row chased them. A second shooting allegedly happened between the vehicles. Alton McDonald, known as Buntry, was in that car, and records show his vehicle was hit by a bullet that night. That detail is documented in Las Vegas case file.
Security, Gene Deal, who was there to secure Puff, all the other warnings that we got, that we needed more security, the snafu in the business world came in like this. You have a budget for everything that you do. The budget for Big in LA for the awards show ended that Friday night, Saturday morning, when a new budget started to get him from LA to London, where he would be taken care of with security, his friends, and everyone that he wanted to be with him in the style that he was accustomed to handle the press junket. When that didn't happen, that budget was never opened, the budget for LA ended, and there was a great need for security that Saturday night, and he was out without that security. The beef up. And we lost him. And in that decision, what it put us in, that decision put us in the worst situation that we could have ever been in. We lost our number one talent. We're on a West Coast where we're surrounded by enemies who told us not to be here. We really shouldn't have been there, but we were. Now we have to get out of there.
Gene also said that in hindsight, one thing may have protected Puff legally, money allegedly not being passed the way it was supposed to be. According to Gene, if funds had moved cleanly, this could have turned into a clear murder-for-hire case. He claimed the FBI told him that Eric Zip Martin kept the money instead. Gene described Zip as someone who crossed everyone and knew everything, including lawyers and close friends. Gene says the case only truly comes together if someone testifies clearly. Someone would need to say they witnessed the exchange, knew where the money came from, and could prove how it moved. Without that, the case stays murky. Gene has long maintained that Diddy and Tupac were not on good terms leading up to the shooting. That claim was recently backed up by Tupac's cousin, Jamal Elise. She described arriving in Vegas, expecting celebration, only for Pac to suddenly shut things down and keep people in their rooms. She recalled Pac coming back to the hotel after knocking out a man, later identified as Orlando Anderson, a known Crip. That moment, she said, changed everything. Looking back, it feels like the fuse was already lit, and nobody realized how close it was to exploding. She said everyone already knew how serious things were. So when Pac came into the room talking about what went down, it felt different instantly. He changed clothes right there, swapped the orange button-up for a green basketball-style jersey, like his whole energy shifted. At that point, he was looking for the outlaws, trying to figure out where everyone was. He told her and Kata to stay in the room, warning that things were getting wild outside. Security kept saying it was safer to stay put, but she stepped out anyway and ran into Suge in the elevator. Suge was with his girl, calm but alert. When she started to mention Pac knocking someone out, Suge immediately put his finger to his lips, signaling silence. That moment stuck with her forever. Looking back, she believes Suge may have been trying to protect her, a silent warning that danger was nearby. She remembers Pac that night as full of adrenaline, loud, intense, but still protective. He told her and Ada Jones to stay in the room. Ada, his fiancée at the time, stayed calm, grounded, and didn't add to the chaos at all. Jamal later confirmed something many people doubted for years. Tupac truly planned to marry Ada. He talked about homes, family, business, and a future beyond death row. Pac wanted out, badly. He wasn't just dreaming, he was planning. One moment from weeks earlier still haunts them. Pac was in the kitchen on the phone with someone from the death row camp. He was furious, yelling about his masters. He was throwing bananas across the room, veins popping out of his neck, sweat pouring down his head. Everyone froze. That level of rage was something they had never seen before. She admitted she was scared, not just of Pac's anger, but of what it might bring next. Being in California, surrounded by people and street codes they didn't fully understand, made it worse. She thought danger could come to the house at any moment. As New Yorkers, they weren't built for that kind of environment. When asked if she had ever seen Pac like that before, her answer was clear. Never. Not that angry. Not that intense. She stood still, afraid to even walk past him while he was on the phone. He was at a full 10.
This could be a week or two prior to us going to Vegas, right? So we in the kitchen and Pac is on the phone. I'm in the kitchen, Pac is in the kitchen, and the Outlaws, everybody's scattered throughout the house, but Pac is on the phone, and this is what I seen with my own eyes. And Pac is going bananas, yo. He's wilding out, he's cussing out Death Row. Whoever, he didn't say, he just on the phone with somebody from Death Row camp. And he's going bananas. And all I hear him saying and screaming out is his masters, his masters. Yo, my brother's head was sweating. He had veins popping out his neck, his head. He was at 10. And at that moment, I was scared. You know why? Because I thought that death was coming to the house to knock us all out. You know what I mean? Because again, we're in California. We're around amongst people that we're not quite understanding their culture, their gang lifestyle and stuff. You know what I mean? Again, we're New Yorkers. I certainly don't understand it. So I was a little afraid, I must admit, and I thought that death was coming to the house to knock us all out, straight up.
And so when you see Tupac on the phone, had you ever seen him like that before?
No, not like that. Nope. Not like where his veins is popping out his neck and out his bald head. No. Not that angry. And that's what scared me, because of the anger, the rage that he was pouring out. You know what I mean? And it was like I was just standing there stiff. I didn't even want to walk past him while he's on the phone. It's like, let me just stand here until he get off the phone, because he was, like I said, he was at 10 and he was pissed off.
There's no physical evidence that Keefe D or had something to do with Pac's death. There's circumstantial evidence. There's people that could probably testify of what somebody told them or heard. So now, Keefe D, lawyers and them did a great job when they did trial by judge. Because the judge is looking for physical evidence. What ties Keefe D to Puff? What ties Keefe D to the Tupac? And how could they prove that either one of them has something to do with it? Somebody would have to get on the stand and say that I saw him, he told me, and they want to have to believe them. So, do they believe Keefe D? If he told a lot of different stories, you got to realize he may have told more than one or two stories, because he tell that story now. What about the stories he told prior to this? You understand what I'm saying? So you're going to look at that. You're going to look at, okay, did he get the money? Where's the money at? Who got the money? Who wrote the check? Who paid the money? Where did it come from? When did it come from?
And the energy was heavy. Some believe that rage came from his plan to leave death row and start a rival label, a theory his own cousin believes strongly. These aren't random voices chasing attention. These are people who lived it, people who were there, people with nothing to gain from lying. One of the strongest opinions came from former bad boy artist Freddie P. When asked if he believed Diddy had something to do with Tupac's death, his answer was blunt. He said anyone with common sense already knows. He compared it to old mob stories. Everyone knows who was responsible, even if it can't be proven in court. Freddie said for years people tried blaming Suge, but those in the streets knew better. Word travels fast when it's real. According to him, Suge was deeply affected by Pac's death and loved him like family. That pain showed, while others kept moving like nothing happened. Freddie also pointed out that so many lives were destroyed after Tupac's death, while Diddy's career kept rising. Albums dropped, fame increased, and business went on like normal. That contrast never sat right with people who were paying attention. He brought up lyrics and old audio clips that many ignored for years. He said sometimes the truth hides in plain sight. If you listen closely, certain lines hit differently when you know the accusations. He suggested money was involved and that the streets understood what was being said without it being spelled out. According to long-standing claims, money meant to set things in motion never landed where it was supposed to. Instead, it allegedly disappeared, which may have prevented a direct paper trail. Freddie suggested that one move might have saved someone from being locked up years ago. He ended with something chilling. He said some souls don't rest, that when wrong is done, life has a way of circling back. He warned that peace never comes when truth is buried. People get misled, pushed into violence, sold dreams of power and status, and later realize the cost was too high. Now, with Keefe D's trial approaching in August, more eyes than ever are watching. Questions that were ignored for decades are back on the table, and this time people aren't looking away. Will you be watching the trial? Let us know in the comments. And the energy was heavy. Some believe that rage came from his plan to leave death row and start a rival label, a theory his own cousin believes strongly. These aren't random voices chasing attention. These are people who lived it, people who were there, people with nothing to gain from lying. One of the strongest opinions came from former bad boy artist Freddie P. When asked if he believed Diddy had something to do with Tupac's death, his answer was blunt. He said anyone with common sense already knows. He compared it to old mob stories. Everyone knows who was responsible, even if it can't be proven in court. Freddie said for years people tried blaming Suge, but those in the streets knew better. Word travels fast when it's real. According to him, Suge was deeply affected by Pac's death and loved him like family. That pain showed, while others kept moving like nothing happened. Freddie also pointed out that so many lives were destroyed after Tupac's death, while Diddy's career kept rising. Albums dropped, fame increased, and business went on like normal. That contrast never sat right with people who were paying attention. He brought up lyrics and old audio clips that many ignored for years. He said sometimes the truth hides in plain sight. If you listen closely, certain lines hit differently when you know the accusations. He suggested money was involved and that the streets understood what was being said without it being spelled out. According to long-standing claims, money meant to set things in motion never landed where it was supposed to. Instead, it allegedly disappeared, which may have prevented a direct paper trail. Freddie suggested that one move might have saved someone from being locked up years ago. He ended with something chilling. He said some souls don't rest, that when wrong is done, life has a way of circling back. He warned that peace never comes when truth is buried. People get misled, pushed into violence, sold dreams of power and status, and later realized the cost was too high. Now, with Keefe D's trial approaching in August, more eyes than ever are watching. Questions that were ignored for decades are back on the table, and this time people aren't looking away. Will you be watching the trial? Let us know in the comments.